Hey, everybody. Welcome to another glorious episode of Jeff Has Cool Friends. My name is Jeff May, and I have cool friends. Not this week, though. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I actually have. You guys know. You saw the title. And this is actually something that I'm very excited to do. I have my first ever return guest in Adam Todd Brown. Adam, you're a bad person. Hi.
Jeff, it's so good to meet you.
It is a pleasure. It's
How
a pleasure to see and speak with you for the first time in a long time.
How did this happen? Do we have like the same management, the same
Yeah,
agent?
I think we do.
Yeah, we sure do.
I think it's just Jeff and Adam LLC
Jesus is my management.
running. We recorded 2 years ago. That's
Yes.
the last time we did this episode. Things have changed over the past 2 years. I would say almost the most significantly anything has changed in our universe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Lots
Um,
of changes dependent, like no matter what you're talking about. The world has changed.
We're on strike because we're SAG.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we of course.
We are professionally union represented writers and actors, so we're on strike.
Yeah, I mean, we write our own podcasts in situations like this
Yeah.
when writers are on strike.
We had to get
Normally, a team would be writing all the words that we say.
And we had to get a special dispensation to be able to record this.
Right.
We had to get
right.
approval for that because Zaslav technically owns the podcast. Could you imagine that?
No, I don't even.
Dude,
Who was that?
it's David Zaslav. That's the Warner guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's that. What was the? It's come to me now, and I know that this is like obviously I could talk about how we met each other, but if you're listening to this show and you don't know how Adam and I know each other, that's weird.
Yeah, that would be.
But there's this energy to like the modern thing where it's like the CEOs and then the worst people on social media are like these greedy writers, these greedy actors. And they're like, I'll make an AI movie for you, bro. Like, that's because you have no talent.
Yeah, I think that you're right. It comes from either not having talent or not valuing your talent.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing.
I think in a way that kind of, it's sort of like, I hate using him as like the litmus test here, but when Elon came on saying he was democratizing free speech by selling blue check marks, and it was like, that is none of that is at all what you did. You're trying to make money off of a failing platform that consistently devalues itself. But it is that sort of energy, which is people that have no charisma and no like creative talent are like, well, I want to do this, but they don't want to work.
Ooh, you're hitting close to home there.
Sorry.
Talking about some people I've worked with in the past, but that's fine.
Woof. Which you've worked with many very talented people as well.
Yes, of course.
And people that are all very good and great and that we still are in contact with. And have I ever brought this up on a podcast that when we did first meet, because we met via like Facebook really, and then you were like, come on out to Unpopular Opinion, the live show, which was your first. I was at the first on Pops. And I never tell people this, but like I had been reading your stuff for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
like,
I don't think I knew that.
I don't know, like I don't like to say that to people because I don't want that to be the establishment of a relationship.
Yeah.
To be like, because as far as comedy goes, I considered us to be like maybe on a cocky level, but kind of peers, you know.
I mean, I was fresh out of taking a comedy class. We were definitely peers in that way. And the only reason I got that show is because I worked for Cracked.
Yeah.
The guy I co-hosted it with, Ben Blanchard, he approached West Side Comedy Theater and was like, hey, this guy works for a huge website. We should give him a show. And
they were
that's
like, yeah,
the only reason it happened.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess I was a fan. I don't think I've ever told you that. Because I don't like you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't like you. It makes me uncomfortable.
But I did like your writing a lot. And I was like, this is a person that I would like to, this is like, you see someone's art and you're like, I would like to know this person more. I think I would be good friends with this person. And I was way off.
Yeah. Yeah. Real huge miscalculation.
But it is funny. We really got a fast friendship going.
Oh yeah.
Like it might be one of the fastest friendships I've ever developed where you meet somebody and you're like, oh yeah, this is like one of my people.
Yeah. And I think at least part of that had to do with I had sort of just moved to LA and I moved here to work for Cracked. And when I was working remotely for Cracked before I moved here, man, the camaraderie off the charts.
In South Dakota.
Yeah, when I was like hundreds and hundreds of miles away from everyone and we were just like interacting on a like work, like collaborative kind of
On
level.
Slack.
But oof, once I got to that office, it was not what I thought it was going to be. And I had a lot fewer friends in LA than I expected to.
Oh,
Uh,
did it feel a little more clicky than you wanted,
yeah,
or a little
yeah,
more like climby? I think that's
yeah,
probably the problem when it comes to anything where you're trying to get your foothold, huh? Where it's like,
yeah, because they had been, I mean, there's lots of reasons
yeah,
for it. But yeah, so I just like, I didn't really have anyone, like, I didn't have any friends in LA really. And yeah, like
still don't.
we got along so well. And like, I still don't consider us friends, but
No, like mortal enemies, but also like
yeah,
compatriots at the same time
yeah, I'm gonna kill you, but it's gonna be at like an Angels game we go to
that we
together
go
or
to.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it is really funny because, we obviously we have I'd say a storied friendship. I'd say funny. This is just how connected we are. Of all the people I've ever had on my show, yours is the most listened to episode.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. By like kind of a lot.
that's
And that is fascinating. Like it's interesting to me because obviously I believe in you and I know how good you are at what you do, and there's a reason I want you on here. But it was funny when I like looked at my like looked at all the numbers and I was like, no hell yeah.
yeah, that is cool. Cause my thinking would be, well, like these people have probably heard me talk. Like I feel like they probably know a bunch of what I was gonna have to say, or maybe not.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that people hear you talk, but they don't hear you talk about you the way, because here's the thing is like you're the subject of the show. And
Yeah.
that hasn't really been a thing for 10 years.
No. Yeah,
People
I don't do really personal work in general.
but people glean it. Like you say you don't do personal work, but you thread your personality and you thread your experiences
Yeah.
through a lot. Like I don't think anybody is going to be surprised when you were like, I didn't make as many friends at Cracked as I thought I was, because they've heard you say similar type things
Yeah.
in on other shows, but never directly. It's never
Yeah.
directly been addressed.
And I
So
say that having written articles about smoking crack and being addicted to cough syrup. So I guess I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm just
I don't
wrong
think
about
so.
my work.
Although I don't know if I was working with somebody and they were like, "Hey, I handed in these two articles. One's about the time I smoked crack, and the other one's about my cough syrup addiction," I'd be like, "All right, slide my chair back a little bit."
Oh, my very first cracked article was about getting dangerously high on synthetic weed. I was way ahead of the curve on that. I almost had a seizure way before Demi Moore had a seizure smoking that
To me, later that doesn't work. That doesn't. Nope, that's not. It's her
Demi
last name
less.
means superlative, but
Yeah, but she would have had to die for that to work.
yeah, it's to me late because she's dead.
She's dead.
She's not. So, I mean, we've had storied situations. I think we've had a lot of highs. We've had some very well documented lows. We've gone on train tours together, which that was a one-time thing for me, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that I was over that almost as soon as it started.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like, because we did a train tour from LA to Albuquerque to St. Louis to Kansas City, right? That was
Yeah, yeah,
and two things. One, we probably didn't prepare for the tour well enough, I think. But two, we got on a train and within an hour we were both like, hate this. And then they
yeah.
were like, well, we got 16 hours to go.
And that was just to get to the first show,
Yeah.
which was Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yeah, people really romanticize traveling by train, but if you can't afford at least one of those little sleeper cabins, you're just on a bunch of buses strung together.
Or if you can't fit in one of those
Yes.
sleeper cabins. Like I probably would have considered fronting up for it, although I'm not really sure I could have afforded it at the time.
Yeah, not
Like
at the time.
even now, I don't I can't fit in that.
I traveled in one once, and for one thing, some of the best sleep I've ever had. But yeah, it was a tight fit for me, and I'm significantly shorter than you.
I ended up spending most of my time in the bathroom and the luggage cart because it was so big and I could like stretch out,
Oh
just
yeah,
like hanging out there and like
that's
sleep. I
right.
slept in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was bad times. That was a
Y-
bad idea. At least I had all that train wine though.
Dude, you had so much. I remember you came up to me one time and you were like, dude, double train wine. It's happy hour. And you held up 4 bottles of train wine. And then you're like, I'm going to need you to get some train wine.
Yeah, there's a limit.
Like they cut you off of train wine. So I had to get you more train wine, which is
That part was cool. That
it's
part
very
I
funny.
was into, yeah.
So Unpopular Opinion started as stand-up, and then like within like a month or so, you were like, I think I'm gonna do a podcast. I want to get into podcasting.
Yeah, initially the idea was to do it to promote the stand-up show, which is an insane, like that's completely backwards.
A weird thing, like stand-up and podcasts do not help each other really.
But it was still such a new thing then. It was 2013. And the thing is, I had done years before that, I had done an internet radio show before podcasts really existed.
Weird. Before they could even come up with a name for internet radio.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like the guy I did it with, like, went on to manage Pete Davidson later. Like,
Oh, nice.
we don't get along now, that motherfucker. But yeah, I had done a radio show on the internet and I liked it a lot. Like, it was highly illegal. I was just like playing like Metallica songs I downloaded from Napster. Like, I built an episode just around bootlegged Metallica music
Oh
just 'cause I
yeah.
thought it'd be a funny thing to do. And so I got on podcasts pretty early. It was a thing I was already comfortable with. And Jack O'Brien was starting a podcast at the same time. And I was like, yeah, let's have two podcasts. And I started Unpopular Opinion, which was kind of a cracked thing, but not ever really.
It was your thing. They were just providing. I mean, they let you, they did not put up a fight when you were like, I'm doing this on my own. So clearly they saw it as yours as well.
Yeah. And I saw it as part of my pay. The fact that they financed me doing a podcast on this platform and being able to build a following of my own. Like, I never got paid. We did hundreds of Unpopular Opinion episodes, and I didn't get paid for any of them. We didn't have they weren't interested
Budgeted
in
in, yeah.
putting ads on it or anything. So, yeah, I kind of saw it as free money a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Like they got what they wanted. Cause I remember the first episode, because I was on the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that was, I think, the first podcast I ever did, maybe. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
close. If it wasn't the first I've ever done, it was like the third or something like that. You know, like it's very hard when your first podcast you do has 48,000 listens.
Yeah. It cracked was huge at that time.
Boy,
Oof.
woof, boy, did they nosedive.
But
I'm sure the people working there now, I'm sure they're great people. It is funny that everyone's like looking for the golden age, and it's just like, that's not going to happen.
yeah, and I don't know. People romanticize it a little bit. Name your favorite person of color from the golden age of cracked. Yeah. Name
Alex
your
Schmidt.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was a boys club. And that's not me talking. You can just go look at the content from the time. They put Rachel Bloom videos up on Saturdays exclusively, which that's when the fewest amount of people are watching internet content. And it's ironic that they would have done that because her videos were by far the best content on
Her
that site.
Disney, her realistic Disney
She's
one
there's a
is
reason she's where
unbelievable.
she is. Yeah, amazing. She was amazing.
I tell you, I bumped into her during the writer's strike. I was walking to, this is gonna pull right into it, a card store
Oh, sure, sure.
near the, I believe it was like near the CBS Radford or whatever, the one in the Valley. And I'm walking and I'm like seeing this woman, like we're looking at each other and we start talking. I'm just like, oh, we've done a show together. Like we've
Yeah.
done stand-up shows together. I was like, I think we did an unpopular opinion at the West Side Theater. She's like, oh my God, yeah, are you here to pick it? And I was like, oh no, I'm here
No.
to cards.
Can I cross that line to pick up a Ken Griffey?
I gotta pick up a pack of King Griffith Jr. rookie cards.
Crossing this line, but not why you think.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm no scab. I'm a collector. But yeah, I bought a box of Marvel cards there, the new Marvel ones. It was nice. It was nice. But yeah, that is really interesting to think about. And then when it came time to sort of make that correction, I guess, or to attempt it, it seemed like it might have been too late.
I mean, the site fell apart shortly after. I
Yeah.
mean, the site still exists, but there were, like with so many other media outlets, for whatever reason, there were lots of layoffs and firings. It's just that I was ahead of the curve on that too.
Yeah, that's right. You got
Story of my life.
so yeah, you're, and I don't know if we talked about this on the last one, but it was like me, you, Alex Schmidt, and Tom Ryman in Chicago. And you were just looking at your phone being like, I'm pretty sure I'm about to get fired.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah,
you were like looking at your phone being like, I think I'm about to get fired.
yeah, I knew I was going to get fired.
And then I think you were even like, better get ready to move on to the next thing, which I thought was, we were all just sitting there like, ooh, this is weird.
Yeah, they're, for reasons I know they just passed that law and like I signed an NDA, but I don't really have to stick to it. But I also don't feel like getting into
Sure.
a bunch of the details, but it was actually kind of a relief because I had already started this Kickstarter. I was already planning to start the network, and when it came time for them to fire me, they let me take unpopular opinion with me. And I was like, cool. Like that's actually pretty fine.
Yeah.
Because and I mean, even if they didn't, I would have just changed the name.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Right.
This is just a reskinned sideshow.
Yeah. Yeah. I know all about that. I know about changing the name and just doing the same
Like, but it's, well, I mean, because it's not like you'd be like, we copywrote the idea of you talking. Like that's not a thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was just like, long form interview. That's not something. Yeah, but like that did sort of move me, like watching that happen to you when I left Sideshow. I was like, oh yeah, this is doable. And then when I went to Patreon, I was like, oh, I'm actually making more than I was over there.
Oh, you got to be making so much more than you were.
I do, but that's only because I undervalued myself with them and thought that they were going to be cool about having a podcast. And they were like, they wouldn't promote it. They never promoted it. It would be like they do one tweet on a Tuesday when it would come out if they felt like it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And I was like, hey, and I'm like, you're paying for this. And they're like, yeah, but they can't buy a podcast the way they're buying a statue. I'm like, then why did you bring me on here?
Yeah, I had, like, I don't want to name them because they're very good people who I still get along with, but I had kind of a conversation like that with two people who ran a website that I was kind of trying to work with, like kind of the same way Cracked worked, where I would write a column, post the podcast in the header of that column and promote the podcast that way. I was thinking of taking that to a different site. And the conversation was so frustrating because they were just like, well, how do you make money? And I was like, man, you sell ads like anything else.
Yeah.
And like, it was just too early into it and they couldn't wrap their heads around it. But in their defense, that was like 2014. It seems like you're talking about like 2000, like 18, 19, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. By that point, people knew how to make money with a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bad at it, to be fair. Like I don't do ads on my free episodes, which I should I should just do that. I tried once to record an ad and it never went through. And I tried like recording it and then adding it in and it just didn't happen. I was like, I'm too frustrated and I melted down. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna move
Yeah.
on. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you and I have made we've made a shift, a big shift,
Yes.
which I want to talk about. And I want to talk about sort of the reasons why before we do that, because you're a huge piece of trash. But
Sure.
I don't know if you know this, but if you go to patreon.com/Jeff May and you sign up for the producer tier, I say your name on these shows. I
Yes. I know.
stole that from Gamefully Unemployed. I just stole it from them. And
Um,
it works.
yeah. Yeah. I
See,
did
it
it
seems
at one point also.
I was doing it for like I did like at one point I did it so cheap that I had clogged up my episodes with just reading off a big long.
Yeah.
And boy, did I cut that down now. I have it at a premium where I only have 19 names to read. And that's a sweet spot right there.
Yeah. That was kind of my concern. I honestly just didn't like doing it.
But you didn't like reading the names off?
Yeah, it felt like it distracted from the episode a little bit, or
Fair.
like from my, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but your episodes tend to be a lot more themed. So
Yeah.
they have that. But I can come in and just say whatever. Like
Don't
shout
do
out
it.
I will add that nobody said anything about a Tiff's sauce problems, which if you listen to,
Oh yeah.
you don't even like this show. Boy, it's scandal of the century over on there.
Big scandal.
But I will say, shout out to the Danish cheese guy who supports the free town of Christiania, Bavar Christiania. It's important to know that he said that's not a racist thing. Hi, your friendly neighborhood mortician here. Psst. You can order caskets online for way less money, and funeral homes have to accept them. Also, direct cremation is the cheapest option if you don't need anything extra.
So like just set the person on fire yourself. Is that
Hell
what
yeah, man. That's what I'm
Yeah, that
talking about.
seems cheap. That makes perfect sense.
India
Thanks for the
style.
advice. Yeah.
Let's do it. Shout out to Mr. Billy Beck. The Tubi Terror Bunny thinks you should watch more Rutger Hauer films. Shout out to that scene in Meet Joe Black where Brad Pitt dies. Shout out to Justin Wood, Bart Fardigan, Dan Adamski, world's humblest man. Shout out to Norm from Cheers, who we met in Kansas City. He
Yeah.
came out. We love him. He's great. Shout out to Dan. Oh, I love everyone on here. They give me more money. They're best. Shout out to Dan Hackroyd, Mind Freak 555. Shout out to Eat Shit and Die, The Goonies. You see that?
Right?
I hate that movie.
Stupid movie.
Check out this month's Nerd with Dre and Jeff. We're going to be watching American Tail, Fievel Goes West.
Is
Fievel
that
Goes
someone's
West.
name?
Huh?
Is that a producer's name?
It's Dre Alvarez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's promoting Nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if you just like took a hard pivot into plugs all of a sudden.
Wouldn't it be funny if he wrote the Fievel Goes West twice? What he actually wrote is, Jeff, you can say whatever you want, including being lazy and just reading this.
Okay. Okay.
Shout out to Watch Me use these prehensile nipples to pick up pennies off the floor. That one makes me feel so uncomfortable when I say it. And
I'm not going to do it. I'm
No.
not going to watch.
I'm gonna watch that. I haven't had carbs or sugar in a couple weeks. I fantasize about deli sandwiches now. What's your go-to order, by the way, at like a sandwich joint?
At a deli, I'm not a big deli sandwich guy.
No,
I
because
like
they're not
it.
great.
Yeah, I like if I can get an Italian sub, I'm messing with that.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah,
like this. I don't like this 6-foot high pastrami that they try to pull
No.
off.
no. Yeah,
If I ordered a pastrami sandwich and someone brought me one of those, I'd be like, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
yeah. Mitch Hedberg has the best joke about that, where he talks about how huge the sandwiches are, and he goes, they brought me my sandwich, and they were like, "Can I get you anything else?" And I was like, "Yeah, a loaf of bread and some other people."
Yeah, that's pretty much
Good
it.
joke.
Like, I don't need that's like the purest of gluttony, right? To be like, I need it to be this much.
Yeah, and who can eat that?
Yeah, well, that's and people because I did a tweet about it one time where I said like I would burn the place to the ground. People were like, you take it home and then you eat more. I'm like, I don't need to do that. Why
No.
don't I eat the sandwich at the sandwich place and then go about my life?
Yeah. Yeah. Why can't I eat my $45 pastrami sandwich?
Okay, that's the thing too. You're not saving money when you give me that. Like, they're not doing that. They're not doing that to be benevolent. That sandwich costs $30.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge scam.
But also carbs and sugar guy. Don't be afraid to mix it up a little bit. Allow yourself a little treat every once in a while. I had a Dr. Pepper at Mission Impossible. That was nice.
I didn't make it to Mission Impossible. I
Get
got a
there,
bad
Adam.
night's sleep.
Just go, man.
I'm gonna, but Wimbledon is on right now, and that starts at 5 in the morning.
I
So
get that. I understand that. But you got to see this, man. It's so
I'm
good.
going to. I'm gonna go.
I was watching it and just laugh every time. You're just like, this movie rules.
Yeah.
Like, you should be allowed to yell that in the theater at a Mission Impossible movie.
I think you can, in theory.
Oh, yeah.
You're not
I think anybody should be able to, not just me.
Yeah. You should be
say something to me. I'll do a Mission Impossible on your ass. You try to
say
something to me if I'm having a good time.
Yeah, it should be like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but everyone just shouts, "This movie rules."
Rules. That, I mean, kinda. Is that the best movie franchise in history as far as like consistency? Because it would be that and John Wick. But John Wick's still really young as far as a franchise goes.
John Wick's 4 in, and
pretty good all the way around.
It's pretty good. I feel like it's waning a little bit. I don't know if I can do 7 John Wicks.
But Mission Impossible, people say like they don't like 2 because it's a little too John Woo-y. But like,
I mean,
whatever.
Like 6 out of 7, that's fine. Yeah. Like that's a pretty good batting average.
And also, remember who did the theme song to that one?
Was that Metallica?
Limp Bizkit.
Even did Metallica do the first one?
I don't know. That was like 30 years ago.
Because that's the song that kicked off all the Napster shit.
Oh wow.
It was like Metallica's first song in years and years, and it was for I'm pretty sure it was for Mission.
It would have been Mission Impossible 2, because that would have been like 1999 to 2000. Because remember, like, I know that Doug Ray Scott couldn't play Wolverine in X-Men because he was doing Mission Impossible 2. So it would have been around when X-Men came out, which is 2000.
Yeah, it's called I Disappear. And yes, it was from Mission Impossible 2. And yeah, that's the song that started all the Napster stuff. Someone stole an unfinished version of it from the studio and uploaded it to Napster. And
I mean, yeah,
it was salty.
It's gonna happen. They got mad about it. Shout out to the producer formerly known as the Ghost of Dave Thomas. Who wins in the What If crossover we truly deserve? Doo-doo Suit Bruce versus Doo-doo Suit Wolverine. Probably Wolverine. He's got the claws. Eat shit and die, Grand Canyon.
Hell yeah.
And final shout out to the wandering unpierced left nipple. 2 nipple names. This is it's 10% nipple based.
Yeah, there's a lot of nipples in those shout outs. And here's the thing. Nipples are great.
Jeff has cool friends. We got a lot of nipples.
Yeah.
Jeff has cool nipples. That is absolutely going to be a producer name after this. Somebody is going to tell me they want to change it to that. Okay with that.
Yeah.
If you want in on that, head on over to patreon.com/Jeff May. I have a couple of producer spots open, as well as the one where I send you from the card breaks as well.
Oh, I'm going to sign up for that one.
Yeah, I can send you stuff from I Must Break You, as well as You Don't Even Like Sports Cards, which, Adam, you and I have started doing. And we've touched upon it very briefly. We've touched upon this, but I don't think we've really gotten to the genesis of it, which was somehow I fell into card breaking videos. It was something that I was like, feel like that's something I would enjoy.
Yeah.
And then I messaged you. I was like, dude, we should start doing this.
Yes.
And because we had You Don't Even Like Sports already. We had this show. And I was like, dude, we can just call it You Don't Even Like Sports Cards, and we can do sports box breaks, like pack breaks and stuff. We could do old junk and all this stuff. Boy, has it gotten out of hand.
Yeah. I mean,
it's fun though.
Yeah, I don't know that out of hand is the right way to put it. It's a thing I've become newly passionate about. But here's the thing. It was like the thing I was most passionate about as a kid.
Yeah.
And now there's an adult way to do it. And
it's fun.
And it's fun. And like, I work too much. Like if I don't do shit like this, I will just sit with a laptop in my lap and like research atrocities for the conspiracy podcast. So now I with baseball cards sometimes.
Yeah. And you've been doing tennis cards too, right? You said you got some tennis.
I did. I haven't put it out yet, but I'm gonna do more like an unboxing video series. But the first one, just to make a smooth transition, I'm opening some 2021 Topps Chrome tennis cards. It'll be out by the time this goes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten really into like cataloging. Like I have been meticulously going through all of the cards that we opened, not just that we opened during, the videos, but I live so close to a Target, and
Sometimes we just get cards and we open them.
sometimes I'll just go to Target and I'll just buy some cards and I'll open them. And the research aspect of it is really calming to me. Like
Oh yeah, it's like very zen.
I don't watch enough baseball to know who Asteri Ruiz is just on sight. But there's a way to like figure that stuff out and know if, this card that I ultimately paid $1 for, if you do the math in terms of buying, especially like a retail box, which tends to be cheaper, like maybe that's going to be like a $75 card this time
Yeah.
next year. And it's so relaxing.
It is. It's scary to me when I go to Burbank Sports Cards, which is the card shop near my place, which is a world famous card shop,
Yeah.
which I cannot stress to you enough. You gotta come up here and come with me to this shop.
Yeah, I definitely will. I was looking at a card on eBay today and glanced over at the seller name and it was Burbank Sports
They
Cards.
have a warehouse with millions of cards, like
Yeah.
like millions and millions. I think they might be the biggest
Probably.
card
Yeah.
store in the world. They were, I mean, even when it was like not crazy popular, they were still the biggest. They
Yeah.
were, I think they were in the Jack of all trades documentary
Yeah, it is. It's
where they go in the warehouse and it literally looks like Raiders of the Lost Ark's ending.
yeah, it's massive. It's
Yeah.
massive.
I'll go there. I was there not too long ago and I saw this guy losing his mind opening cards. And I kind of was like, he was near me because I was seated going through a box. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, I just spent $2,000 on this and I didn't get my money back. And he's all mad. And I was like, dude, just go to a casino.
Yeah.
If you're, because here's the thing with like this hobby is like the classic way of making money off of this hobby is just, it's just not really a thing. It's so rare. You're buying a lottery ticket,
Right.
pulling an auto or a one of one or something like that. It's insanely rare. And people just, if they think if they spend enough money that they're going to get the hits or whatever, and it's the gambler's fallacy. I've seen it happen where I kind of was like, they should put up that gambling hotline, like phone
Yeah.
number in their store.
Yeah. That actually wouldn't be a terrible idea because there have to be like I've bought maybe 4 boxes of cards and even I'm like, okay, whoa, I need to.
Yeah, we split that hobby box of Top Series 2, which
Yeah.
was awesome, by the way. And I think we should do that again. But that was 120 each
Yeah.
to do that.
But meanwhile, you go to Target and they have all these signs up that are like, all right, only two things per day per customer, which means there are people going in there
Oh, yeah.
like daily buying stuff. And especially doing it that way, like it's like baseball cards really are a thing where you got to spend money to make that kind of money. Like if you want that $1 million card, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to have to buy like that $10,000 box of
It's
cards.
it's very rare that you get, but I will add, I did have that happen once as a kid when I pulled that Mickey Mantle out of
Yeah.
one pack of score trading cards, like one pack, $1.49
Right.
that pack, and I pulled a card that's of 2000 Mickey Mantle autograph, right?
Yeah.
That probably means I'm never going to do that again. Like
And
you have to have tens of thousands of dollars to invest in that.
yeah, to make it a thing where you like get rich, or I would think even to just like it's a thing where I can see myself doing it and being able to like flip the stuff I pull out of boxes in a way that I at the very least won't lose money.
Yeah.
But that also like the amount of work I had to put in just to like catalog all the stuff and like research, well, which prospect is worth following, like what would that card be worth if it was graded, like all of those things. It takes patience that I think a lot of people don't have. And the alternative, is you just keep buying boxes until you pull that rare thing that is going to make you rich.
We should be rich.
We should be rich. That would be nice.
I think, and this is something that I think we could talk out here. I think we're going to do that card show, the
Oh,
bourbon
yeah.
card show. I think we're going to do that. I think we actually have to hurry up and sign up for it.
Yeah. Really.
Because I talked to the guy today because I did stop in on my way to the gym to check it out and to like ask him about it. And he's like, you might want to send soon. I think they have like 80% capacity full already.
Oh, okay.
So we would do that. But I think we are either going to do something very good, which is, I think, we can sell some of the stuff that we've picked up in our, unwrappings for whatever. But then I think we can just do what we do. We can
Yeah.
around and promote our shows and get more people that are like, oh, like I like you guys. I want to hear you guys talk about stuff.
Right.
Which I think that's the interesting mix of it. And when we were talking about it, and you were like, this thing looks like it's going to start getting expensive,
Yes.
which is a fear.
Yeah. But it's also why, like, in terms of making money selling baseball cards, my focus is less. Well, I hope I pull a one of one LeBron James autograph
Dollar
and
binge.
it buys me a house. Not even just dollar bin stuff, but like I bought, 3 or 4 boxes of Series 2 Tops cards from Target. And there are, there's rookies and prospects. The way baseball cards work now, like rookie cards show up before that player is really established. And that wasn't really the way it was when I was a kid.
No,
Like,
they would usually come out and trade whatever the traded was, like the rookie
yeah,
plays. And if they play in the second half of the year, maybe the traded series will have them.
right. And now, like, there's players who have major league cards who are still like 2 and 3 years away from actually being in
Yeah.
the majors.
They did do first round draft picks though.
Yeah.
They did
And
do that back in the olden days. I remember we'd have
yeah,
first
that's true.
draft picks and they wouldn't show up right away. Cause I remember like Greg Olson,
Yeah.
first round draft pick.
Right. But like even right now, everyone is up in arms about Ellie Dela Cruz, who is great. He's amazing. He's a rookie. He's playing for the Cincinnati Reds. But the top prospect in baseball right now is a guy named Jackson Holiday, who I think is in AA. And him and Ellie Dela Cruz are 1 and 2. But Jackson Holiday, it's Matt Holiday's kid, by the way. Like he, even though he's not in the majors yet, like that's easy research to do.
It's like knowing Shohei Ohtani was going to be something.
Right. And
like they were like, yeah, we knew that because of what he was doing in Japan.
And that to me makes it less gambling and more investing, which that's still risky. But if I can accumulate, 5 Gem Mint 10 rookie card prospects that I got from buying a couple boxes that I spent $40-50 on and like flip each of those for like $75-80, that's easy money.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is read about baseball. Like it's not like you're not always, sometimes you're going to strike out.
Hey, I get it.
Hey, right? Like sometimes these kids are, unfortunately going to get hurt or just like flame out. But it is also
we always remember Brian Taylor was
Yeah.
like the second coming in 1992.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
he
was a guy, I
broke his hand
remember.
in a bar fight, ruined his entire career.
Yeah, or on the basketball side of things, Jason Williams, he was like the number 1 or number 2 pick.
Oh, white Jason Williams or murder Jason Williams?
Neither. The motorcycle accident shattered his pelvis, Jason Williams.
Oof. Third time's a charm, baby.
Yeah. And
I mean,
like
Len Bias is another example of that.
yeah. And like that's going to happen sometimes, but also it is actually not that hard to know when someone like Shohei Ohtani is coming. It's not hard to know. Like there's a rookie right now named Josh Young. He's got a brother named Jace Young who is like just as good, but is probably not going to be in the majors for another year. That's easy information to find.
Yeah, might as well
And
call
that
him
I
young.
like I like that part about it.
It is there is definitely that aspect to it. You said you sent some cards out for grading recently. You said you set up a grading situation.
I sent some out just to kind of like
Feel for
see,
it.
like feel out how the process works. I had a
I
couple things. The a couple of the things I really wanted were from the tennis cards I opened. I pulled a couple things in that, which is silly because those are even at a PSA 10, they're probably going to be the least valuable things in that
but
box. But I love tennis.
but that's for you.
Yeah,
But that's
exactly.
the other thing too. Like I got my 86 Donruss Jose Canseco graded,
Yeah,
right? I did not do that because I was like, I can't wait to sell this. I was like, man, I always wanted this card as a kid, and now I got it. So I'm gonna get it
yeah,
graded. And I did. And now it's in a little frame,
yeah.
which I
It's
like.
like it's a cool thing that like then you're getting into like if you're sending off a ton of cards all the time to be graded, then you are once again getting into kind of gambling.
Yeah, it's a gambling event. I mean, I guess there are like you got to get one of those jeweler's eye things where you can like see all the corners and edges and see how they'll grade and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Like,
Yeah. They sell like card grading kits that you can
yeah,
buy. But yeah, there's a lot to it. But I don't know. It's a fun thing. I like following baseball in this way. I like that I know who the number 1 pick in the MLB draft was and where to find his cards if I want them. Like, again, he's already got cards out there that you can buy for cheap because no one knows who he is.
yeah.
Paul
That was like
Skeens.
Corbin Carroll for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. It's weird that like Cincinnati and Arizona and like Baltimore are like the future of
Just
baseball, and you're like,
balling out of control. And see, that's the thing. Like, just from buying those like retail ass tops boxes, I have like 8 Corbin Carroll rookie cards. Like, if I send like you're obviously not going to send everyone off to be graded, but if a couple of those come back as PSA 10s, you can.
I think I mailed one out to somebody
Oh,
in
really?
there. But yeah, because like there's like a lot of people like I send out a survey like what are your favorite teams, and if they don't have a team for the cards for the sport that I'm doing, like some people only like hockey, and I'm like, well, I didn't open any hockey cards this month, so you're getting baseball, and you didn't put anything down, so I'm just gonna give you some cool. Yeah, I sent somebody like one of the like the Ripken, like the '84 tops Ripken, and like a Corbin Carroll. Like I gave him good. But I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't know what to do with you, man. If you're not giving me enough, I'm gonna have to guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's
Fun.
interesting.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it's been really fun following cards and like it's made me, care about baseball again, which after the Cubs traded Javi Baez, oof, and Kyle Schwarber and Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant, oh, it wrecked me. Like I haven't
Yeah.
really cared about baseball for a couple years since
Yeah,
that
the
happened.
Cubs were like, time for a couple building years.
Yeah, yeah,
That's rough.
yeah. But yeah, it's been great.
It's rough in Boston when they're not allowed to take building years. So whenever they have a terrible year, we're not even allowed to say it's a building year.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, not with your page, not with your pay scale. You can't be the number 2 or number 3 paying team every year and have a rebuilding year. That's not how this works. Like, imagine the pressure of being
Yeah.
like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox and just being like, oh, the Red Sox didn't sell out Fenway for the first time in like 20 years this year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
These people were just like, no, we're good. They weren't interested in going anymore.
Yeah, they're bad this year.
So bad.
They're really bad. They got a player though, Marcelo Meyer.
They have a couple.
Yeah.
They have a couple of like decent prospects coming up. Masataka Yoshida.
Yeah,
Um,
he's great.
but
Roman Anthony. I love
yeah.
that I can just name off Red Sox
See?
prospects. That would not have been a thing like 2 months ago.
Raffy Devers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is it is weird though. But it's also okay, so I know we've kind of gone a little inside baseball about it.
Yeah.
We when you look at the evolution of unpopular opinion from where it started to where it is now, I mean, unpopular opinion is dead
Yeah.
as far as names are concerned. But when you look at like where it started and where it is now, it's so different. Even the name, because when we kind of came up with You Don't Even Like Sports, which was not our first pick
No.
for the name of the podcast, our first pick was shut down by Apple. Is that right?
What was our first pick?
Sports by Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, no. I just knew that
I
wasn't going to get.
I liked that idea so much, though.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
It would
have been.
We would have tanked.
We would have been sued by Huey Lewis and his gigantic hog.
Yeah, his big, massive wang, just
big old
filing an
baby arm
affidavit.
down there. Yeah. Yeah. And it, like, changing the name of Unpopular Opinion to You Don't Even Like This Show made sense for me because of how much Unpopular Opinion has changed. And like, we had that, early period where it was just kind of a podcast about anything. And then Trump happened and it became very political. And even at that point, there were people who were like, I like the old Unpopular Opinion. And it's like, I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm going to change over the years. And I really I really appreciate the people who have supported me this whole time. And I understand if it's changed too much for some people, but that's what made You Don't Even Like This Show feel like an appropriate name.
And the You Don't Even Like This network. Because I remember the first shift was you're like, I'm just going to call it You Don't Even Like This band. And then, because you have the music podcasts, which are very similar to You Don't Even Like Sports in that it's like a season at a time. And so you were like, well, that fits. And so it did make sense, the You Don't Even Like blank thing being sort of our thing. I remember you said, like, when you looked to get Unpopular Opinion trademarked in any way, and they were like, that is taken. And you were like, well,
yeah, that was taken. Unpops was taken. And the lawyer was like, you should just change your name. It's like, oh, is that
like,
all I should do?
Soon.
Yeah. And finding out, easier said than done. I asked Apple about changing the network name on Apple Podcasts, and they were like, contact legal. It's like, oh, cool. Excited to jump through those hoops. Oh, Jeff, I haven't done it yet. I've been buying baseball cards, man.
Yeah. Gonna bribe them with some Ellie De La Cruz rookie cards.
I could.
This is a number 9/25. This is a low number. I know somebody asked us on the Q&A pod that we did relatively recently what our favorite pulls were, and we discussed stuff that we had pulled on camera. Is there anything that you've pulled off camera from buying these cards that you were like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, a few of them are tennis. I pulled a Sapphire Coco Golf card, which is still like just the Sapphire base card, but it's a Coco Golf card. And she's really great. I pulled a of 25 orange auto card of some player named Jonas Bjorkman, who I'm like not that familiar with. But when I pulled that card, I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, an auto orange refractor. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of, there hasn't been a lot of baseball stuff that I've pulled off camera that like really blew me away. It's been more, again, like doing that research about prospects and then hitting eBay and finding someone who like clearly
they have,
like doesn't know what they have or lost track of it. in like finding that kind of stuff. I did pull that Otani card that I immediately texted you. It was
Yeah,
a
what was it?
it was a blue rainbow foil board Otani card. It was a 2023 top series 2, and it was just like a base card, but a parallel. And it was of 9.99, but it had like a little bit of damage on
Ah,
the top. But here's the thing, it like when we talked about it, you were like, well, it's good for your personal collection. I'm not gonna like keep an Otani card around just to look at. So I put that shit on eBay. It sold for 21 bucks.
oh, it's
Like
going. Did you
like
you it's
I pointed out the damage. I like did a close up picture and like called it out in the description, so I wasn't like cheating people in a baseball card shop. Bought it for $21.
there it is. They know what's
Love it.
going on.
Yeah.
They
So
bought the file thing. Did they auction it or did you set it at like a buy it now price?
I did an auction.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what it was worth. I started it at $5 to see what happened, and yeah, I got 20 bucks for it from a box I paid, $40 for. So now
Nice.
I paid $20 for it.
Nice. I got a Tops Now card, an Otani card that I pulled one of those like, congrats, you win $10 to the Tops Now store.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is weird, but all right. And I looked and they had an Otani. I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I pulled one of those too, but I have not gotten the card yet.
Oh, did you cash it in?
Yeah, I
You went
went.
on? What did you take?
It was also an Otani.
Like, yeah, he's like Ellie De La Cruz at Otani's. Shohei Otani, for those of you that don't understand, Shohei Otani is currently the best player, kind of the best player in baseball right now. He's leading the league in strikeouts as a pitcher and home runs as a hitter.
Yeah.
That is insane.
It hasn't been done in such a long time.
It's Pumpsy Winderson of the 1908 Ducks.
Yeah, like you bring it up all the time. People always mention Babe Ruth. It's like, man, Babe Ruth did that for a couple seasons. Like he didn't keep that up when he went to the Yankees.
Also, I don't think Babe Ruth was throwing like Otani was throwing either.
No.
Like,
I mean,
let's not pretend like this thing where everybody glorifies the good old days. And it's like Babe Ruth, I hate to say it, but like he was playing unintegrated
yeah,
baseball. Like that alone, like really limits who you're facing.
right. Yeah, I mean, he was good. Like Babe Ruth was obviously
Well, I'm not going out here being like Babe Ruth, what a piece of shit he was.
but yeah, he's not Shohei Otani.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
And imagine if he found out that a Japanese guy
Oh man.
was going to be like the one, and we love him for it.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah,
would
that
have
would be
lost his damn mind.
yeah, there's a prospect coming up named Bryce Eldridge who is trying to be the American Otani, and I guarantee you there are so many old crusty ass baseball writers who are just like, come on, kid, please.
They're just rooting for the white guy in boxing.
Hell yeah.
You know the guy. We had a ton of those guys back home, obviously, because where I'm from. And it's the same thing as all those guys had Notre Dame jackets and they never went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They didn't even graduate high school, for God's sakes. But they were like, a white guy ready to fight? Yeah, that represents me.
Exactly.
That's why I'm a Celtics fan. Just a fat white guy smoking a cigarette near a basketball or a pipe. That logo speaks to me.
The coach smoked.
Damn right he did.
That was cool though.
Yeah, he was awesome. And they were green cigars. Like,
yeah, that's branding
that's
right there.
So you changed the name now. You don't even like this network. Has it affected listenership at all?
No, I think I broke people in. Like, I think I made it a smooth transition.
Yeah.
I didn't surprise anyone with it. We made it. Granted, I put the announcement at the end of what was ultimately about a 5-hour 500th episode.
Yeah.
Which we split into 2, but it was still Avatar shit.
I'm glad I got the easy episode.
Yeah.
I was on that second half.
Yeah, the first half was mostly fun, and then there was the part with Randall and Connor. But
Well,
yeah, that we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk
no,
about it.
you guys can listen to the Unpops episode 500, which is also the last episode of Unpopular Opinion before it got rebranded and renumbered.
Yeah, and we explained there that it's mostly for legal reasons, but it's also kind of a break I need from, like, unpopular opinion is still so tied to Cracked in people's minds, and I'm ready to move on from that, and this felt like part of that.
Yeah, I feel like people at this point in time have to be ready to move on, right? Like everybody you loved from there is now doing other work and it's trying to be a new thing. And everybody's mad that it's not the old thing. But it's like, let it be the new thing.
Yeah.
We still know good people that work there. So it's like, you don't want bad things to happen to it. But if I don't understand, everyone's like trying to hold on to the past. It's like everybody you liked, you can hear on a podcast somewhere.
Yeah.
Like you could just go enjoy what they're doing now, where they can control what they do as well.
Yeah.
Which is that's what I feel like is I think the best part is that we are our own thing, that we can do what we want. And
Yeah. Uh, yeah, by the end of my run at Cracked, I was definitely over the concept of having a boss
yeah,
anymore. And it was, yeah, like I definitely like that part. I like that. But I mean, I didn't take or receive a lot of oversight at Cracked. I was a pretty much a self-contained unit there. I wrote my column, I ran the columnist section, and I did my podcast. So I had kind of my own wing of Cracked after I started several other things like the quick fix section, personal experience section, which I didn't find out I started that until after I'd left Cracked. That was fun and exciting news to me, but sure enough, based on a column that I published on Cracked, not written by me. So yeah, it just, I don't know.
yeah, no, it is
It's
what like the other part too is like there's no need at this point in time for like everybody's like looking for like sour grapes or drama and stuff. You'd be like, people are just moving forward and doing things, man. Like doesn't have to be controversial. It's just like, yeah, man, people are having careers, doing their things. So now
yeah. I mean,
my
there's some sour grapes. I just don't want to talk about it.
yeah, fair enough. What do you want out of you don't even like what's the goal currently? Because that's what people ask me all the time, and I don't know how to answer it, which does make me feel like I might be treading water
The goal out of
doing this. Like out of what we're currently doing with like the cards and the podcasting and everything, like what's our step?
I mean, I don't really have, like, I'm not trying to host a TV show or anything like that. I just I wanna just be able to do what I want,
Yeah.
and I want to be able to build a following that will follow me. Like, if I, because it's gonna happen, like, there's gonna come a time when I don't wanna do as many podcasts as I'm doing, but I'll still do something else that will be a thing you can support publicly, and I'll still do podcasts. I would like to make more money, obviously, but beyond that, I just want to be free to do what I want. Like, that's, and I feel like I kind of have that right now. It's just, it would be great if it was a little more lucrative, but I'm very lucky to be in the work situation I'm in now. There's people doing 3 open mics a night, hoping they get a fraction of the employment I have right now
Yeah.
in comedy. Like, I get to do, like, it's not stand-up comedy, but the dirty little secret about stand-up comedy is most stand-up comics' goal is not to be like Jim Gaffigan and just doing stand-up comedy for a living. People want to make movies and they want to be in TV shows and they want to host TV shows. I just want to work from home, man.
Yeah.
I just don't want to have to go back to an office. I don't,
Somebody recently asked me, they were like, "Well, what do you want?" I was like, "I would like to make enough money that I'm not considered under the poverty line with my income."
Yeah, that would be
Right.
nice.
And then she asked a very devastating question, which was, "Well, what are you doing to make that happen?" And it shorted me out because I was like, "Oh man, I feel like I'm accidentally being called out for not trying to make more money doing this." I don't know. It is hard.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. Like when I redid the tiers, when I redid the Patreon tiers, things shifted, but a lot of people left because they were getting a really good deal for $10. And when they were no longer getting that specific deal, they were just like, "F this, I'm out."
Yeah.
And that was a bummer, but I'm also like, I get it. I gave you something really great and then I took it away. I understand that. But like when I do like the rookie card tiers and stuff, like I like doing that. I like putting those packages together. They take
Yeah.
time and work, but it's fun. But yeah, it is one of those things where you're like, and you'll get people and they'll be like, "Well, what can I do to help?" And I'm like, "Just tell your friends, man." Like,
Yeah. It it's hard for me to a lot of the things I need to have done, I've tried to have people help with, like research in this. I don't want to make anyone who's done research feel bad. Like there have been plenty of episodes researched by other people that were great.
but they're
But
not you doing
yeah,
research the way you do research.
I'm really particular about it.
Yeah.
And it yeah, it's hard for me to turn things over to people and I don't want to make people work for free. Like as much as I've had people offer, I have a couple of times, like we had a guy running our YouTube for a while, like, but it feels, I don't know, I just can't do it. And so, yeah, the best way to support is just listen and tell people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I had this, I was saying, I forget where I was saying this, but it was like when you're like support and people are like, "Well, I don't have money." And I was just like, do you think that's what we want out of you specifically is money? Then you're missing the point. Like support is, reviewing and liking and commenting and sharing. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be financial. And it can be very devastating when people are like, "Well, that's all you want." I'm like, "No, I just want to be heard. The more I'm heard, the more people will pay attention." Like, you know how you get a sponsorship from a company like Tops or Upper Deck or something like that? You get people watching.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get people watching. And that's one of the things where, you know, when I came to you with the sports card breaking thing, I was like, well, the things a lot of these people are making their money off of ad revenue from their videos.
Right.
And then they're getting sponsorships because they have 20, 25,000, 30,000, 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
They're putting up those numbers. And we need those numbers to hit. It's just hard.
Yeah, it's hard and we don't have 25,000 people we can tell that to. So that's where, telling your friends comes into play. But also, it's part of the reason the show is called You Don't Even Like Sports is because it was a thing it cracked that we acknowledged all the time, and it was a thing that showed up in the numbers. Like, that audience did not like sports. Like, we just would not we got a lot of really great sports-based ideas and pitches from people when I was at Cracked, and we would maybe publish 1 out of 10 because the audience just wasn't into sports.
There's a war on the concept of sports by pseudo intellectuals.
Yeah,
People that think that they're so smart that sports are below them. Uh,
right.
I find those people to be some of the most insufferable people in the world. And I apologize because I guarantee some of those people are listening to the show right now.
Oh,
And
sure, sure.
and I don't mean this to say I think you're a bad person. I mean this to say I think you're insufferable.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a little obnoxious. Like, you can just not watch
Yeah.
sports.
It's like anime. Like, okay, I don't really watch a lot of anime. I'm not gonna be like make that my identity every time an anime convention comes into town. It's like when people are like sports ball, and it's like, dude, if Anime Expo comes to town, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, anime ball."
Yeah, I
Gonna
was watching, I think it was like a cooking show or something recently, and they had to do like a sports themed meal. And one of the contestants was like, "Oh, why does it have to be sports? I hate sports." And it's like, you're cooking. Just cook.
Cook.
Calm
Cook,
down.
make it a football.
No one's asking you to throw a curveball.
Yeah.
Just cook your food.
Just cook your damn tart and shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
That really is the thing. And it's these people that there's this like everyone thinks they went to high school in an 80s movie where they're like, the jocks bullied me in high school. It's like, I don't think they did. I think
Yeah.
you're probably lying. I think you're probably Mandela affecting your own existence because you felt insecure as a kid, because that's what kids do. Kids are insecure. The jocks did not bully anybody in my school. They were too busy like being active.
Yeah. I got bullied by my family.
Yeah, right.
Like I lived really close to a bunch of my cousins and aunts and uncles, and they were all assholes. Like that's where I got the bullying from. People were relatively cool to me at school. Like I was overweight and I would get teased for that, but that's like school. Like
Yeah, the jocks weren't picking on me for my weight. It was everyone.
yeah.
That was
Also,
picking on me.
I was good at sports as a kid. So
I was not, but I did them for social survival.
oh yeah.
I hated pretty much every sport I played in school. I just did it because I was like, all right, well, if I play football, I'm a lineman and that's an athlete. But if I have the same body and I don't play football, I'm a fat guy and that's bullyable. So
Yeah.
I literally like, it was like my form of survival, I guess,
Yeah.
where it was like, oh, no, I'm just this big because I have to be.
Yeah. People wanted me to play football, and that's the one sport that I did it for maybe a month. And I was like, these practices are grueling.
They're
I am more of
awful.
a baseball guy.
I want to stand while I'm doing my sport.
Yeah. I can't even smoke when I'm doing this. You kidding me? Get me in
Yeah, that
center field.
it was like I was a lineman. I was like crashing into people and I was just like, I hate this. And I was so tall. And they're
Yeah.
just like, just get your hands up. I looked like a big potato.
And you got to do those up downs. That took me out. That took me out. I was like, Grandma, not coming back.
I was 19 when I found the sport I liked to
Oh,
play with boxing.
boxing. Yeah.
19. And I was like, and that's when it clicked with me when like the practices were grueling and I liked them.
Oh, yeah. That
I
makes
was
sense.
like, oh, like it clicked. Like the tumblers fell and unlocked a secret about myself, which is I enjoy the misery of boxing, whereas I did not enjoy the misery of track and field or football or wrestling. I hated them, but I
Yeah.
tried them. And
Yeah. Baseball was mine. And I think that plays into why I'm so hardcore back into baseball cards now, because baseball really was my thing as a kid. Like it was my passion. I loved playing it. I was good at it. I, and then I started meeting girls in high school and I was like, oh, this is cool too. And I stopped playing baseball.
turned my back on comics a little bit in my late high school years because I was too busy focusing on social survival.
Yeah.
I just regret that. I mean, comics also dipped out at that time. Like
Right.
1997 and 1999 wasn't a good time. You actually just bought your first comic, right?
I was just going to say, not my first comic, but my first comic since I was a child. We've talked about how passionately I was into, was it the Blue Demon?
Yeah, that's right. You love the Blue Demon.
I loved the
Ian
Blue
Ziering.
Demon. But yeah, after we just did an episode of You Don't Even Like This Show with Atif Myers, who is amazing. And going back and editing, I could tell he was trying to tell me about this thing on the episode, and we just talked over him. But he texted me after, and this was just released. There's an Invincible Iron Man comic that has a Coco Gauff variant, and it's limited to 3,000. And he sent it to me, and I bought one.
Really? How much was it?
$34.
It's not terrible.
No, it was like it. I bought it for what they were selling it for. It was some like the link he sent me. I bought it on eBay, but the link he sent me was the seller that was on eBay. They were just selling on eBay also. I think I paid like $3 or $4 more for it than
Yeah.
what it
You gonna
was
get
on the
it
site.
graded?
I don't know because I don't think I'm going to open it. So then do I?
Is it coming bagged?
It is. It's and see, this is how much I love tennis. Now I'm excited to talk about a comic book
Yeah,
that I'm
right.
never going to open. But yeah, it's bagged and it has the certif in the back.
We should get that some graded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do
So
it.
it's like CGC, if you know about SGC, the card grader, CGC is the same company.
Oh yeah.
So they're the Comics Grading or Comics Guarantee Corporation or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get it graded.
I looked into it a little bit. And it
Yeah.
seemed like the opinion was split on whether like if you're not going to open it, then
Because it's not a sealed poly bag. It's just it showed up in a bag.
right.
So
Right.
like, well, you go, you take it, you get it graded. Everybody's happy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah. We should do it. You have it there? I'll take it to Comic-Con with me next week. Wait,
Oh.
as of recording, either in 2 days or I just got back, depending on the scenario.
Why not both? Put it up both days.
I am actually going to be putting it up both days. So
Oh.
Patreon exclusive goes up a week early.
Oh.
2 weeks of Adam Todd Brown. One for the money people and one for the no good, worthless freeloaders that I love.
Oh, you lucky freeloaders.
Well, that being said, I know we got to get you moving pretty soon, and we still got a little bit of bonus content to come for those Patreon exclusive people. So you don't even like sports, or you don't even like this network, right?
You don't even like podcasts. No.
You don't even like podcasts network. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Okay, and so like tell people how to access this.
I mean,
Because it might be murky, right now because you're in the transition.
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of up in the air. We're still changing the names of things. I was disappointed to find that changing like your Patreon URL, it just like disappears. And like people who go there after that, they just find like, oh, whoops, this page is missing thing. Whereas I was hoping it would like redirect people. So, like, still the best way I mean, our podcasts are available everywhere, just like any podcast. You don't even like this show is everywhere. You don't even like sports. There's most of the episodes are out publicly. You don't even like this band. Like it's all out there wherever podcasts are at. But also patreon.com/unpops still for right now. But hopefully that will change. And also we're trying to lean into using our Discord more because that seems like a central place where because we have subscribers scattered at like we have Patreon, we have a Supercast, unpops or unpopularopinion.supercast.com. And we're trying to lean into the Discord more. So you can go sign up for that at youdon'tshow.link/Discord.
You don't show
.link/Discord.
You know, if
And
you mix it around, it's Dick Sword.
I like that. That's funny.
Dick Sword.
That's funny.
Got him.
And yeah, that's where we're going to try and focus on posting a lot of our updates there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your store still open with the stuff, or is that because I know
Yes.
you had a store and you're doing like pre-sales on shirts and stuff?
Yeah. Well, depending on when this goes up, because the shirt pre-sales are happening through the end of July.
So this goes up on July 18th and then also July 25th.
Oh,
So
okay.
those of you that are listening, you have either a week and a half or 5 days.
And that store, same thing. You don't show .link/store. Very easy.
Yeah. You said you sold out of the sold out of the hard drives already?
I might do some more. Those went over really well. I sold those quicker than I thought I would.
That's the perfect example of like residuals for a podcast.
And yeah, depending on when people who might have bought those are listening to this, those hard drives are going out very soon. I didn't include in the description on the store that I have to upload the files to each hard drive myself.
That's going to be some work.
There's a reason they are 1 terabyte hard drives. It's because we have a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, you're getting like 400 and something episodes getting.
Oh, I mean, it's a hard drive with every Unpops network.
Oh, damn.
Ever. Like, we were able to find, I think the only thing I left off is The Darkest Hour for obvious
Yeah,
reasons.
that's probably a good idea. That guy's a face.
Yeah, but beyond that, it's like everything we've done. There's a listener, I should have asked ahead of time. I don't know if he wants me to name him, but I had lost the first like 30 episodes of Unpopular Opinion. And I mentioned on an episode of You Don't Even Like This Show that I was looking for him. And someone like booted up an old computer and found like the first 100 episodes. So now we have all of those again. And I think that hard drive might be like that's kind of the only place those
Did you
episodes are
save those
at.
episodes?
What?
When the person sent them to you, though, you're like, well, at least I got these now.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing, I don't love those episodes. It was a different time, you
Different
know?
time. Doesn't matter, though.
Yeah,
That's like being like, well, Van Gogh didn't like his first stuff. It's like, yeah, but that's an important part of the process.
right. Yeah. Yeah,
And there's
it
good
was
stuff in those episodes too. Just because
yeah,
you're
I mean,
10 years evolved from it doesn't mean that there isn't good material in there.
yeah, there's definitely some good stuff. And, so, yeah, we sold a hard drive with it ended up being over 100 gigabytes of
Means
material.
you still got 900 gigs left.
Yeah, the site I got them from, the 500 gigabyte one was sold out. Otherwise, I would have just done
That
those.
makes sense. Yeah.
But, yeah, you have, like, enough space to store the rest of your life.
You're gonna autograph them?
I was thinking about it. I haven't sent them out yet.
Do it. Like, why not?
Yeah, I might sign them.
Why? Who gives a shit? Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, bro. Awesome. I know social media is not something that you necessarily like to focus on. Usually I tell people what their handles are, but you have Blue Sky.
Well, I do Instagram too, at Adam Todd Brown.
Adam Todd Brown with 1D. This isn't
One
the duh.
D. One.
So at Adam Todd Brown on Instagram, and as well as like Adam Todd Brown at dot bsky dot
Yeah.
soc dot.
However that works. Yeah. What do you think of Blue Sky so far?
I really feel like Threads showed up and been like, it's easier to do this.
Threads,
It is.
I haven't.
And then the people are, and nobody cares that they're like, to get rid of Threads, you have to delete your entire Instagram account. And we have access to all your information. And I was like, that seems a little bit.
Oh, is that a thing? Yeah.
Threads was like a whole thing where it's like within the T and C's of it, it looks shady as shit. It's fun. It's Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of these tech people are good or even better than the other one. Everyone's like, who would win, Zuckerberg or Elon Musk? I'm like, I hope they both explode.
Yeah. We all lose.
Yeah. Just like the Aliens versus Predator poster.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to hear more from me, you should check out You Don't Even Like This Show and You Don't Even Like Sports podcast for people who don't like sports, as well as You Don't Even Like Sports Cards. Live video show on You Don't Like This YouTube, where Adam and I open up sports cards as well. Adam, you've been doing some as well that you're going to be dropping on your unboxing as well.
Yeah, I'm doing the first unboxing is going to be sports cards, just because I got all those tennis cards that I want to
do it
to open.
Do it. You don't. By the way, I hope you don't feel like I expect you to only open cards on camera with me, right?
Well, no, I mean, okay. Yeah, like, and like you open like
I do. I must break you. Yeah,
and
I
like,
do the non.
I just love tennis so much.
Do
like
it.
That was, a thing I wanted to do on my own. But yeah, the next one I'm opening a still sealed original pressing of Fleetwood Mac's Tusk album.
It's pretty rich.
Yeah, it's a good album. It's my favorite Fleetwood Mac album. But at the time, they won exactly 1 Grammy for it, and it was for album packaging. It is elaborate and probably a little bit problematic now. A lot of African themes, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they didn't mean harm at the time.
I know.
Like there is definitely people who go, that's racist. It's like, yeah, but they weren't trying to be racist. It's just that's how things were at the time. And yeah, it sucks, but like, cancel Stevie Nicks?
No one's going to cancel Stevie Nicks.
No.
Yeah,
like white winged dove.
Christine McVie, on the other hand,
canceled
for real.
Canceled for life.
Yeah,
from life. Excuse me.
from life.
You can also check me out on Gamefully Employed's Tom and Jeff Watch Batman. Of course, if you are listening to this on the Patreon, thank you so much. If you're not, thanks anyway. I appreciate your ears. I would like you so much more if you were on the Patreon, but I still like you. I still like you, but I just like the Patreon people just more. Head on over to patreon.com/JeffMay, JEFMAY, to get early access to uncensored episodes with bonus content, as well as exclusives like Ugh Fine with Kim Crawl. And you can get early access to Nerd with Trey Alvarez. I posted about a little early with there, but you can get Nerd for free as well. If you want to see me live, head on over to Blast from the Past the second Friday of every month at Blast from Pass on Magnolia in Burbank, California for Mint on Card. I feel like I got everything.
I think so.
If you're at Comic-Con, if you're listening to this on the Patreon and you see me at Comic-Con, don't be afraid to say hi. A lot of people message me after the fact, say they saw me and they didn't want to talk to me because they were scared.
Oh, I can relate to that.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't want to talk to me because you know me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I assume these were people who just knew you. And
these people are like,
not today.
Someone was like, I didn't want to interrupt because you were talking with one of your friends. I was like, I need to brag to my friends that people recognize me.
Of course, yeah.
I desperately need that. Like,
yeah.
Do you know how much of a flex that would have been?
Yeah.
If I could like big dog my friends at Comic-Con, say something.
Of course.
And I think I might do something like bring a hat with me, and the first person that comes up and recognizes me, I'm just going to give them a hat.
Oh, that's fun.
Why not? Yeah, I have extras. I got a shipment of hats in and just forgot to sell them. Like I forgot to tell people I had them. And then somebody was like, I think it was on our Q&A episode where they were like, hey, I bought a hat, but it's getting pretty greasy or something. And I was like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of these here.
Yeah. Sell your hats, idiot.
Well, I should. You can sell it. Just send me a message on social media. You can buy a hat. Adam, say goodbye to the freeloaders.
Goodbye, freeloaders.
Bye, everybody. We love you so much. And for those of you that are patrons, stick around for that sweet Bone Con.
All right, later.
Hey, everyone. Our artwork is created by Justin T. Brown, who can be found at Artness by Justin Brown on Instagram, as well as artnessbyjustinbrown.com. That dope music you heard is by Troy Nababon, available at Troy Nababon on Instagram, as well as at troynababon.com. Nababon is spelled Nababan, and boy, does that shred. Thank you all so much for listening. See you next time.